the finer things in life, I suppose. I don't know. Right then.
Right, lads, I'm going to have to introduce a section early, mainly because I'm boiling. Anyway.
Go on then. Oh, shall we do
Abbott
the
watch.
Stripping section, or?
Yeah, exactly. Is this the... Oh, no. Are you going to do it?
He's alive!
Fucking hell.
Amazing.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, fish and birds. Welcome to the Year of Shame 10 podcast. This is episode 1.6.5, version 6. It's a strange... We've lost count how many we've done, and then we've got missing episodes that never seem to make it, so I'm unsure what to call this, but we're here now, we're recording now, we're here for you guys. So I'm going to go around the room straight away, introduce my fellow podcast hosts, and we'll start with Dave. How are you doing, David?
Hello, Neale. Hello, everyone. Good evening to you.
You all right, mate? How's things?
All right, not too bad.
Good.
It's been one hell of a month.
I'll say we'll get into that. Right, Joe, how are you doing, mate?
Good. Cold has gone and there is storage space on the PC.
More about that later, gents. And then Matthew, how are you, mate? How's things with you?
I'm all right, matey. I was saying to Dave earlier, so yeah, for full disclosure, we did lose a show. And maybe we'll come on to that later. But,
Yeah, we will.
It's been long enough that I forgot a lot of things and stuff's happened, so we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is the thing. What I remember is it was about an hour and 50 minutes long by the time we finished recording, and I couldn't remember. The next day, I couldn't tell you a single story or a single conversational piece that we had. So that's no problem. This is like Memento. I should start writing stuff down on my body, really, because I'm not going to remember. Then the very next day, and because I don't listen back to the podcast as well, in particular, I'm screwed when it comes to kind of any kind of recall. Oh, well, we're here. So this is. I think we can call this our official January episode. Yeah. So we've done the introductions. We've done a nice little kind of throwback interview with Derek McRoberts, but this is our official kind of January shindig, gents. So we've got lots to talk about. We're going to talk about what we've been playing, what we've been missing, general thoughts and feelings of where we are at the moment and things like that. We've got questions from the community and questions from the Facebook group and users and what have you, and probably just a lot of side stories and lots of just drinking and messing around in the meantime, I suppose. So, what do we want to talk about first? Where do we want to go? I'm looking around at everyone. Where do we want to go? Matthew, did you say you had something that you wanted to get off your chest?
No, I was actually thinking that we've got all them questions we got from Facebook. We can throw them in and out. So I think that's a perfect cue for Mr. Southall over there to because terribly sorry that I put the call to questions out like an hour before we sat with Digi, and like. That's not enough time, Matty.
No.
Because, 3 hours after recording, there's some, real rich and stuff there. So we're pulling it over to this show.
Excellent stuff. Go on then, Dave. Hit us with the first one.
Okey-doke then. So, the first question is from, of course, last year's host, Kath McCauley. If all the games in your pile of shame were to be melted down and turned into a trophy of shame, which game would you save from getting melted and why? Over to you, Neale.
Oh, there's such... See, I have vague memories of this question from the last recording, and I remember struggling then, and I forgot what game I said last time. I think it would be... it's one of the Fallouts, I think I remember saying. I think it was... if I had to save something from everything that I've got, that I play, and everything that I cherish in my game pile, then yeah, it'd probably either be Fallout 3 or 4. Probably 3, because the amount of hours that is capable to be synced into that game is absolutely crazy. And it was a game as well, I've probably told this story again previously, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but it was a game that really kind of helped me out in a period of my life where I did kind of just a little bit kind of down the dumps and stuff like that, and the escapism of playing that game, even though it was a harsh apocalyptic reality that I was escaping to, I mean, that wasn't that bad growing up in my village in Shirebrook. It wasn't that bad, but it was pretty bad. So I think with that, for me, would be what it is. And the clincher for the Fallout 3, actually, the reason why I'd probably choose it is there's one achievement that I haven't got out of all the DLCs, all of them. I've got absolutely everything, and it's one achievement, and I know what it is as well. It was the Mothership Beta DLC. I think it was one of the last DLCs that came out for the game. And they've got audio logs. You went kind of zoomed up to this kind of spaceship, fulfilling this kind of storyline out. A couple of new weapons were introduced and stuff like that and everything. And there was audio logs kind of hidden around the ship, and I couldn't find the last one. And one audio log out, and I've tried 3 times, and it hurts me to this day that I've tried. I honestly, I know it sounds stupid, but people were thinking, use a guide, just watch YouTube while you're doing it. I tried. I seriously tried, and for whatever reason, this frigging audio log was completely missing. So yeah, I'd save that because I want to have another crack at that one.
Can I just interrupt there?
Yes.
It's a good job you haven't collected that, because I've just noticed the wording on this question is if your games in your pile of shame were melted down, not all your games that you've ever had.
Oh shit!
So, seeing as you haven't collected that, it's still in your pile.
Yes,
of shame.
exactly. Technically,
still on the plate.
Thank goodness for that. I thought I'll have to try and think of another one on the fly. Yeah, that'll be me. I think for that particular question, it's a bloody hard question. Well done, Kath.
Joe, how about yourself?
So I have a definite one that is in my pile of shame, and it's one of 2 Zelda games that I really want to get done this year that remain unfinished, and it's the NES Golden Zelda cartridge that I still have, which back in 2000s, early 2000s, I went on a little trip down to London to, I think it was a Virgin Megastore. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was. It was certainly a Megastore. There were certainly lots of Virgins, and Shigeru Miyamoto signed it. So
Yeah.
it's that signed copy of Zelda, which I haven't got any sort of certification that it's signed, so it's worthless to my descendants.
Signed by who?
Miyamoto,
Oh,
the man.
okay. Wow.
Yeah, I probably should have mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah. So was this a Virgin Megastore? Was it on Oxford Street? That massive one was on Oxford Street for years.
I think it was that. Yeah.
I think one of the first times I ever went down to London, I went to that Virgin Megastore, and I was just kind of, I'd never seen a shop more than 2 stories before. That's
Joe,
how
which
long ago
Zelda
it was.
is that? Is it the first one?
The NES one, yeah, the gold cartridge NES one.
I was saying, because I bought one of those Game & Watches last year. You can't see it on the camera. Maybe I'll try and do it at the same time as you then.
I'm not sure if I'm going to try and play it on that actual cartridge, because I have got the NES in the attic, but it might be easier to just emulate it. Because I'm partway through, I'm on like Dungeon 8 and I couldn't find it. There were no guides then either, so it was like you had to borrow your mate's there was someone had a copy of Games Master that said what you had to do, and you had to sort of borrow that, but I could never find the entrance to that dungeon.
You could phone up the Nintendo
You
Power
could.
hotline.
I'd forgotten about that. Yeah.
It's only £5 a minute kind of thing.
That is class. I'm very jealous of that indeed, Joe.
Have you had it? Have you tried to have it valued or anything, Joe?
I haven't, and I'm not. Well, there might be worth it. There might be someone who can like analyze the signature and say it's real. But I'm going to keep it on. Well, I suppose if it was 30 grand, I could quite consider
surely
it.
you'd be tempted to. I mean, it's a good game and everything, but bloody hell! I mean, that's that's like life insurance policy, isn't it? That's something to pass down to
That ain't going down in price. Let's face it. Unless you piss on it.
Yeah, unless you piss on it.
Depends who you get to.
I mean, you could lose it, you could break it. He didn't have to actually urinate on a game, Matthew. He didn't wake up in the middle of the night thinking it was, opened the closet and pissed on his own clothes. It's not like he's gone. I mean, we've all done that. Come on, you're all looking at me, and I know you've all done that.
I have a close friend, and that's how his PS2 met its end.
Oh God! Luckily, I've never done it. But there was one guy that I lived with at university. I remember him basically not coming out of his room for about a day or so after a big night out, and because he got up in the middle of the night and he pissed on his PC. and like pissed all over the keyboard and all over his desktop and everything like that, and he just ruined it. It wouldn't turn on, and he was that depressed.
Bloody console wars.
Yeah, he spent all his. It was the first year of student loans as well. He spent all of his student loan on it, and it, oh yeah. So we've all been there. Anyway, what about you then, Matthew?
Matthew?
Well, I don't. I was thinking that I don't really have a physical pile, do I? So
No.
I don't. I have nothing really. I don't know, other than my bad self to kind of worry about. So I legit don't. So I wish I had summer, but no. So it's women, children, and dogs first, and I'll be bringing up the rear.
In that order.
I think for myself, this is going to be difficult because it's not really on my pile of shame, but my original Japanese import of Demon Souls on the PS3. I mean, that's what put me on the path of those games. And, you know, I bought the American version, then the English version, then Dark Souls 2, 3, blah, blah, blah.
What's the difference?
All the rest.
What's the difference in just the spelling of the word flavour? Or is there actually
they're all
is there
separate
like
games, but
oh right, okay.
the Japanese version was Japanese. It was, you know,
No, I meant
your
like,
menus made no sense. It was proper. It was proper hard.
yeah, not just hard. It was very hard.
Yeah, and I suppose I have got the PS5 Demon Souls on my pile, so that's the one I'm saving.
Me too.
I've
got that.
If I send some, I forget what they call it, a devolution remake of Bloodborne.
Yep.
Does that mean that? Could you not play that, Dave?
No, because it's released this year, isn't it? So I'm not allowed to get it.
Oh shit! You're out of luck then. Well, you can buy it next year. You know, you just keep it on your radar.
I think it's free.
What? Well, you're not
I'm
technically
surprised
buying
it's
it.
not
You're
been
technically not
issued
buying
a
it then, are you?
takedown.
He's not buying it, but he's not working on his pile, Neil. There's different ways of looking at it.
We all need to work on his piles.
The fact that yes, they do. The fact that I give zero shits what games are coming out because I just noticed I've got 3 Hitman games I could play if I felt saucy.
Oh yeah.
Cool, excellent. All right, well, thanks for that. So I think what we'll do then is let's. We've started January. We're officially 4 weeks into the challenge. We've not all yet bought any video games. What's the general kind of how you're feeling about not buying video games and not buying something new or challenge yourself with anything kind of like that's fruity? Like it's a long year. We've got a long time to go. We're in the first hurdle if you count it by the months. How are you feeling, Joe? Are you feeling confident? You feeling all right?
My confidence has taken a hit, Neil. Quite
Really?
a big hit.
Oh God, what's happened?
Pokemon Arceus Legends has come out. I think it's Arceus, and it was one that was sort of. I've got to keep an eye on it because a mate of mine was thinking about getting it, and it's a guy that I've known for years and years and years. And in 6th form, we were playing. I think it was the Gold and Silver, Pokemon Gold and Silver on the proper old Game Boys with a link cable. We used to have Pokemon fights in the common room, and he's broke his rib, so he's off work, and he's got time on his hands. He's got Pokemon Arceus. It's looking quite nice from the reviews. It's being a struggle not by. I think it might be silly to use my Joker
I think
early.
it wouldn't do you. You would be doing yourself a disservice, I think,
Yeah.
Jay, because if this guy's got all the time in the world, you'll never be able to keep up, and you won't enjoy it. It will be too much of a grind that you could accomplish without sacrificing real life things.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I think, Joe, as well, I heard it's not actually got like multiplayer, so you couldn't battle. You can trade, but you can't
Right.
battle, which is very weird for a Pokemon title.
Yeah, well, everything I'm hearing about it, it's kind of different. That you're sort of just roaming around, the Pokemon fight you, and they've got the big boss battles where you've got to sort of... It's actually playing the game, not picking moves for a giant rat to do it for you.
Have the Pokemon finally turned on their masters? You get inside that ball.
I quite like a Marxist
You get
reimagining
it.
of Pokemon.
I'll summon you!
Yeah.
So you've been tempted then, Joe?
Really
But-
quite tempted. But you've put me off. This is a great support group. I'm not buying it now. Leave it.
I think, it's not...
Don't care.
You're welcome.
The thing is, for me, it's not that there's going to be a better Joker out there. It's that realization that maybe you just don't need the game as much as you think you do.
It's not. Well, it's not the game that I feel I'm missing out on. It's that experience of playing it with
a friend.
With a friend, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a similar kind of feeling, but I'm not going to crack. It's not going to be my Joker. But Dying Light 2 coming out at the end of this week. That is a similar thing. Playing it co-op, playing the first game in co-op was amazing, so much fun, and I played it for absolute hours and just loved all the gameplay mechanics to it and everything like that. And I think I've had a similar word with myself as well, Joe. It's like, yeah, it'd be great to play with friends, but actually, like Matt just said, your mate who broke his rib by masturbation, he's got all the time on his hands, literally on his hands. But I haven't got that time at the moment to warrant to play solely kind of like online playing it with all the good people that are playing it at the moment. So that's what's made me think twice about it. Plus, also games like that will come down in price, and if I have to play it later on and play it single player, I will do. But yeah, I feel your pain, Joe. I kind of feel your thought process, I should say. Sorry, Joe. But good. Dave, how you been doing, mate? How are you 4 weeks in?
I'll be honest. Right at the start, I was starting to struggle a bit. In the first week, literally.
You are an animal.
Well, I've still got Game Pass subscription, so basically they're all popping up there. There's just umpteen titles come out already this year. You know, Pedestrian Ember.
You don't need to play Windjammers too, though.
All sorts. Windjammers is a fave of mine as well. So the problem is they're just there. And I like drinking, and it's one button away.
It's so true.
So, yeah, it's been a bit of a nightmare, that.
But you're staying strong. You're keeping yourself.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, as we'll come on to, I've got through quite a bit of stuff this month.
Good.
And it's from various formats, so I've been trying to mix it about.
Good.
I don't really need anything else because I've been having a great time jumping from platform to platform and, actually playing some of these things instead of...
You're doing it right, mate. You're doing it right. That's this is the challenge you've set for yourself. You're doing it. You're diverting your eyes, blinking yourself away from distraction. Distraction from playing the games that you've got that are probably very similar or same genres and stuff like that kind of thing that you've already got, that you've already downloaded, that has taken up your hard drive space that you're not using yet. So no, well done, mate. Well done on you. Mm-hmm. How are you feeling, Matthew?
I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling especially invigorated since last Friday, where I joined in with Gears and Beers for the first time in quite a while, but it was the first time on my console.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Because previously I've been joining on the PC, and the PC's not been that fantastic. So to join on the console, it was such a fun game to play, as always. But from an accessibility point of view, as soon as I change my input on my monitor from PC to console, even my head is in a different headspace. I'm now in game mode, right? I ain't got to worry about anything else. Everything's going to work fine because it's a console. Don't have to worry about overheating. We're all on the same benchmark, except for the fact that, some of you are on PC, but, I mean, Phil could be running that on a Game Boy and he'd still shoot me faster.
My favourite...
And the annoying thing is, he still uses a controller.
Yeah, he does, yeah. My favourite quote from Gears and Beers was from you, Dave, several months ago.
Oh,
After halfway through a Gears and Beers night, you're like, my game's broken, it's buggy. Every time I see Phil, I explode.
Yeah.
You just get shot every time you see him. I'm dead. Yeah, but you did have it. You did. I remember last Friday, Matt. We had a good night, didn't we? Apart from you not downloading the multiplayer element when joining the party.
Yeah,
it's a good job you've got a fat pipe.
It was another good test of my new fat pipes, and I guess it's built-in Wi-Fi, works with my fancy router. So yeah, super quick.
Yeah, you were from downloading. It's probably 20, 30 gig or whatever, but it took you 10, 15 minutes to actually be able to join in. It was good.
I mean, what was amazing is that I know that it's an ongoing thing that we love, and merchandise has been made with its theme. But for the first time in years, Neale, you legit fell asleep and started snoring in a party. I didn't know that still happened. Didn't know that still happened.
Yes, mate. It happens. It doesn't happen every time.
I know, but it's so casual. After a few minutes of us going, Neale. Phil just goes, oh, I'm just muting Neale. Like it just happens.
No, mate. It's happened since week 1, and like over 10 years ago. I mean, we were playing Gears and Beers. It happens. I just get too warm, too comfortable. I've had too much to drink, and then I'm waiting in the lobby for people to go for pisses and blah blah blah. I just go, oh, you know what? I'll close my eyes for 5 seconds, and then end up waking up 3 hours later, hearing voices of like an argument or something, like, you know, at 3 o'clock in the morning or what have you. So I think I woke up to Phil and a couple of the people kind of just having a bit of a shouting match over a particular game, and just kind of woke up in a daze and like, oh, fuck, and just didn't even bother saying goodbye to everybody, because obviously they know I've been asleep. I can't fake it. I can't pretend I've been outside for a cigarette for 3 hours. Don't work that way. But it still happens, pal.
You can try, but we've all muted you.
Exactly. So, you know, it's fine. And then the thing is, when we play again, this week, I have to text everybody and say unmute me, because we're going to a party and everybody's still got me muted.
It's true.
I have to remind people that I'm actually, for at least 12 o'clock-ish, I'm going to be, kind of verbally there around.
I told you what we need to do is buy some sort of remote vibration device to strap to you, so that we can activate it when the snoring starts.
I would gladly sit on a telephone on my knackers and have it vibrate just to wake me up. Like I've even told the wife that she's got instructions on a Friday night of with Gears and Beers and stuff like that, like to bring me up beers when she goes to bed. Make sure all these kind of things, and to make sure that if I'm asleep when she does this, to nudge me until I wake up to go to bed, kind of thing. Because there's no point in me just being asleep in a chair. Anywho, come on, we could have an entire podcast about Neale's drunken sleeping habits. For myself this month, I'm doing all right actually. I have not been looking at any of this. Well, I've kind of removed myself from looking at Game Pass. I don't look about what's new on it or anything like that, so I'm avoiding temptation that way. There's been a Steam sale on for the last week or so, which is usually over the last 2 years has been something that I've always dived into and tried to sort out those kind of games, those that you've not played for years or you've always had on your horizon but never kind of jumped into, and I've avoided looking at what's in that as well, because I don't want to know the price. I don't want to know what's available. I want to keep myself away from it. And I've been all right. I've played a couple of video games and I've done some bits and bobs, and yeah, I've managed to avoid it. And I think I'm gonna do all right this year. I've got a feeling that I'm gonna be at least halfway through the year before I use any type of joker or gift or anything along those lines. So I'm feeling quite strong and quite confident at the moment, which is rare, because usually the reason why I'm doing this podcast is usually I'll just buy video games. If I want it, if I think I'm going to play it at some point, I'll just buy it. So I'm doing good. Right. On that, should we have another question, Dave?
Exactly. Mr. Richard Forder Esquire asks, as we have Mr. 20 Minutes himself, Matthew Moore, involved, let's flip that and ask, if you could only play a game for the first 20 minutes of it, which game would you choose?
We'll have the same conversation we had last time. That the way that I interpreted that question is what game had the best 20 minutes that you could play over and over again. Yeah. And it was totally Max Payne. It was still totally Max Payne. Yeah. I don't know. I was watching, since we last spoke, I've been watching Dan Reichert, who used to work at Giant Bomb and his own little stuff on YouTube, playing the first and second game of that. And even now, I think it was 2003, the Fall of Max Payne, the second one. Them two games have the noir aspect and that comic book aspect. It just, at that age, also just coming off the back of things like The Crow and The Matrix. Do you know what I mean? I was into that kind of that. Yeah. The style of that game was just awesome, and I think that's probably why it explains why it was that I didn't connect with Max Payne 3 at all when it came out, and it took about 5 years before I revisited it and went, actually action game. It's great. It's just not that Max Payne.
Yeah. Max Payne 3 was just two of the filtering, you know, when he was meant to be on drugs and having kind of like twitches and kind of flashbacks and things like that. That just got really irritating because it just looked like graphical bugs in the game, and just kind of it was trying to do too much story, too much feeling, rather than just being an action story game. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think the first 20 minutes of Max Payne 1, but especially back in the day when it was new, was just groundbreaking, definitely. What about you, Dave?
I'm going to give the comedy answer. I reckon I would play 20 minutes of Hypersports, whacking the keys, and if I played any more than 20 minutes, I'd probably have a heart attack.
So, is it Hypersports? Is that track? Sorry, you have to forgive my naivety. Is that track and field, basically?
It's the sequel to Track and Field.
Oh, is it?
Track and Field, then Hypersports.
And what's
Hypersports, the one with the swimming and archery and weightlifting.
Oh, okay. So it's different. I was about to ask like what was different about it. So it's basically different sports, then, was it?
Yeah, it's got skeet shooting, the best game ever.
So I imagine
played
for
that.
weightlifting, you're just mashing the button like a knobhead.
Yeah, until your head explodes and the ambulance arrives.
Yeah. Until the the blood pulses out your eyelids. So I think with my memories of like track and field games is obviously the arcades and people using coins. Would you to kind of like the flipping of the coin over the button for the extra speed? Is that legitimate, Dave, or is that cheating?
No, you can't use that. No elastic bands. No.
What about socks?
Rulers.
Socks? There's a sock.
No woodpeckers.
Yeah, thinking of your pet woodpecker. Yeah, come on, Horace, come and take this out. Socks. What's the socks method, Joe?
Right. Well, actually. Ali, whose PlayStation it is, him and his brother were quite competitive, to the point that they would fight each other on things like track and field with the sock over the thumb, and then the rubbing, which I think they've kind of got sorted from other activities, but sort of rubbing with the base of the thumb and a sock over it for as a blister guard, as a sort of rudimentary blister guard.
Imagine rocking up with your 10p after them two and going, "Oh, it smells like cheese."
Well, this was more
Who's
sort
been
of
running on this machine?
at home, like. Yeah, and they were quite inventive anyway, because remember Time Crisis at home, and they're sort of setting up. I remember some sort of rudimentary pedal system they'd made out of some books to go that would sort of go onto the second controller so they could play Time Crisis. You just walk in, you're like, what the hell are you doing? Socks and books everywhere. Yeah.
Okay, no, 20 minutes, Joe.
Yeah, it's still recording.
Yeah. just making sure. I'm glad you said that. No, but 20 minutes of a game, though, Joe. That was my initial question. But I'm glad you checked in with the actual technical status. It's good. It's good to know.
We could do that every time. 20 minutes.
Mate, I'm not even joking. It sounds like I'm messing about. I was going to go like wave my hand at one point and go, Joe, can you just check your
recording?
Can you check your recording? Can you check your Audacity? No, mate. No.
20 minutes.
To the first 20 minutes of a game, mate. What would you play?
Well, Tetris. Be right with it. No, I know.
It's a good call.
See, thinking about the best 20 minutes. The Last of Us has got a 20 minutes that will grip.
Yes.
Like you, but there is no way you are only playing that 20 minutes.
No.
Like that's.
But it's 20 minutes that pulls you in every single direction, though, isn't it? Emotionally, kind of, yeah. Your head pops open and your brain jumps out. Like it's cracking.
My other twisted answer to this is
That's
Destiny.
on my pile.
Tetris is on your pile, or
No,
Last of Us is on your pile.
So, sorry. You've not played. I'm sorry, I'm confused. You've not played The Last of Us, Dave.
Me?
Yeah, it's on your pile. So you've never played
finished
it.
I've got about a couple of hours in and just went there.
What? Because did something else came out, distracted you, or did you just kind of lose patience with
It
it?
was a bit boring. But I know I'm completely wrong on this. You know, it's
No,
regarded as a
there's
classic,
no-
and I need to go back and have a look.
There's not. You're not
I'll give it
wrong.
a Matt Moore 20 minutes test, actually.
Yeah.
We'll soon see.
You played it for hours.
Yeah, exactly. I think. What do you feel like being called the 20-minute man, Matt? Does it follow you into the bedroom?
To be fair, I would take that at nearly 43. as a standard over a year.
Yeah, exactly. I think for me, I struggle with this question because, like, I don't know. There's loads of games that have had a really, that start off well and that hook you and keep you playing or have a really good story. And I can't, honestly, we might have to come back to me on this one because, like, I don't know. I can't think of any other game that really just has, like, a perfect. I suppose in a way, I think The Witcher 3 has that kind of good kind of introductory starting kind of level that when you kind of introduced to the story, you've gone through the kind of a tutorial for the combat and things like that, and you get into it, and when you realise how big the world is, that's a good 20-minute start for me. But then again, actually thinking about it, I think the first 20 minutes. Far Cry 5 was a really good game for me for the first. The way that they introduced the kind of the main characters and stuff like that, and kind of you the rookie kind of cop going in to try and arrest somebody, turning around and not doing it, and then really regretting it because all your friends kind of get kidnapped and stuff like that. That was actually quite a shocking, kind of and thought-provoking kind of introductory to a game. So I'd go with Far Cry 5 just to be a bit different, definitely. Okay.
You would only play that.
Pardon?
20 minutes.
No. I played more, but I think if I could only play 20 minutes, I think that's a good 20 minutes to play.
What about? Do you remember in the old days when there used to be cover discs and you used to get a demo of a game and you just keep playing that demo?
Oh my God!
I had a level of Wipeout that I must have had at least 40 hours out of.
I'll tell you what blew my mind when it came to the 360 is that, do you remember when you used to get the Xbox, not Games with Gold, what was like Age of Booty branded as?
Oh, XBLIG or something like that. The indie
Xbox Live Arcade. They were like, remember
yeah.
you get like 200 or 400 achievement points on them and shit like that.
Yeah.
And what were we talking about? What were you just talking about?
So it's the first
demo discs.
That's right. Yes. What blew my mind is when you could download the demo, but you essentially downloaded the full game and you were just locked into the first level.
Yeah,
so you'd finish the first level and it would say, do you want to buy it? And you go, yeah, I do. And it would like just register like that and open the game to you and continue. It was brilliant.
Imagine downloading like a Gears of War demo that's like 110 gig. It says, do you want to buy this?
They were clever. That's quite a clever way of doing it. That's like a proper, drug dealer kind of mentality, isn't it? Like, try a bit of this, try a bit of this. Oh, do you like it? Do you like it?
I'm pretty sure.
Have it.
Man. Within them sections, it would say something now and again like, "You would have got an achievement for this."
Mm.
It would really kind of pull you in.
Yeah.
And it'd say, if you buy the game, your progress will be continued.
Yeah, continue. See, I years ago, I think I kind of pitched an idea to a friend of the majority of us about creating a podcast about demos and actually just playing demos of game and basically reviewing demos of game only kind of thing, because they became such a fine. They're not as rife as they used to be. Obviously, we were talking way back in the day where you used to get them on front of magazines and what have you. Even 360 days, they were quite quite rife. You could definitely get like the first 20 minutes or the first level of most games, but I think they're quite rare now, aren't they? They're not as not as popular.
Game demos, full stop, stopped becoming so commonplace because they were such a pain in the arse for the devs to create. So they just
that vertical slice, like they had to find the development time to put that together. Same as like a big E3 thing. Yes, well, I'll tell you what, Neale. I don't need a demo anymore because from a delivery point of view, I've been known to go onto Steam and buy a game at 50 quid, play it for 2 hours and say, shit, my computer can't handle this. Also, I don't think I'm enjoying it that much. So I'm going to use that. So I demoed you may as well, because like you were with the demos back in the day, you downloaded the full game and deciding if you're going to own that license, I guess.
Yeah, so because the refund policy, isn't it, up to 2 hours? So do you set the alarm on your phone just to be like, 1 hour 50. Like, make sure I turn it off, so I don't accidentally go over that 2 hours and I ain't got a fucking leg to stand on. Jesus,
It's like in the glory days.
the
when,
swear jar is going rife this evening, gentlemen. By the way, I've dropped about 6 swear words already. I'm such a knob.
I'm
There's another
hoping one of our listeners will keep count of this because we've lost track.
This will be in like next year's EGX. I'll have to actually cough up this amount of money and I'll buy everybody in the room a drink. I guarantee it.
So has that been cancelled this year?
Yes, it has. Yeah. Which is not really a surprise. I don't think the ticket numbers would have been that impressive. Not just for COVID reasons and stuff like that. I think it got a bit of a bad review last year in terms of quality and kind of quantity. And
Had they moved back to Birmingham though?
yes,
They had,
it's back.
What it is it's effectively the Res show, which is the PC indie game, but they were going to add on some AAAs and so on. But they put out a statement saying that they simply don't have the exhibitors and they don't want to put the show on in its current state, really.
It's just
You
bad-
can't blame
bad-
them because they got savaged last year.
Yeah, it's bad for
And
the
they-
brand if they just.
Nobody's
if they
going to
do
go
it
to an
again.
event that they're expecting to be awful.
Yeah, compared to what it was, say, like 4 or 5 years ago, where the people would queue for 2 or 3 hours to play a demo for
Yeah.
5 minutes. Do you mean that kind of thing? I remember that. I can't remember what year it was, but I think it was Titanfall, and I remember the queue was something like 4 hours long just to play one
The Division
round.
was 9 hours at one point, they said.
Okay then, gents. So thanks for that. Let's move on to actually what games have you actually been playing? What have you been doing to kind of remove those games from your pile of shame? Kind of get into the rhythm of it all. So Joe, you first, mate. What have you been playing recently? What have you been working on?
Well, there's sort of two sides to this. There's the PlayStation 4 that isn't mine. There's Ali's PlayStation that I've been having
Of
a look at.
course,
So I'll
of
talk about
course,
that one.
yes.
And there's also what I've been up to myself. So start with the PS4. So with a bit of jiggery pokery, I've managed to get my account on there. So that's all sorted.
Okay.
So now any game that I've got that he's also got, I can play, which was basically going to solve an awful lot of problems. So that's all sorted. I've been playing Ratchet and Clank and not having a clue at all what's going on. It's like that Quantum Leap feeling, isn't it? You're sort of just suddenly in there, and then suddenly you're this, I don't know, this rat lobbing the spanners at everyone, and
Oh boy!
yeah, but Ziggy, I haven't got a clue what's going on. I went down a drain pipe. I lobbed a spanner at these fellas. There was a ship. I couldn't blow up the ship, and then it turned out I had a gun. Like I didn't know I had a gun. Found the gun, shot the ship. Nothing happened. Died. Kept going.
Died again.
It's made the game a lot harder when you've because I've never played Ratchet and Clank before.
No, I've never played. I've never played any Ratchet and Clank game.
I don't really. I'm assuming Ratchet is the robot. I'm not completely sorted.
No idea.
You're asking the wrong people here.
I don't know if you. I mean, starting mid game, man. It's ballsy. It's ballsy.
It is. It's a challenge, that.
Yeah, and I haven't mentioned the second game I picked up, which is God of War.
Okay.
So here I am, sat by me massive tree, glowing things everywhere. There's some little weird fella following me around, lobbing an arrow every time I press it.
Weird
I don't know what
fella.
he's about. Not got a clue. I've worked out how to swing the axe. Found some little chap, a little goblin lad, who's selling me. He sat behind a fire saying, "Do you want something?" I think it was armour upgraded. I don't know. Didn't know what was going on.
Do you know how far?
And the controls are inverted. Well, they're normal, but I'm inverted. So, like, the buttons go... I've had to change that. I'm committed to honouring his memory, but I'm not committed to having the wire go the opposite way.
No, I think that's a step far too far, mate.
Got yourself a friend.
I didn't know you were an invert, Joe. That's worth knowing and noting. It's,
I'll make a note of that on the special list.
On the spreadsheet.
On the list.
Off my Christmas card list.
On the list.
So,
And then-
so you jumped in. Do you know how far you are into God of War? Do you have you got any indication whatsoever?
By the tree.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Which I assume the tree seems to be... Like, I know a bit of sort of the mythology here. I'm assuming the tree is the connection between the different worlds. But I don't know that yet.
Oh my God.
So
That's a mind blown moment, isn't it? To fall into a game, you don't know what the story is, you don't know what your progression is, You called him
Buckle up, that's my year. That's what I am doing.
You called him
Some Memento again now, aren't we?
some chap following me around. It's your son, for crying out loud. He
Oh,
calls-
spoiler.
Yeah. You know, for the first 2 seconds, you idiot.
I don't.
I love that you have no idea.
He's not going to reveal
why
that at
they're
the end,
doing this.
Joe. It's not
Do you
like
just
one
think
massive
they're
reveal like,
too-
oh, by the way, that kid that looks up to you and calls you dad is actually your son.
I'll be
on,
honest,
man.
I thought it was just a
Why not
local
be?
urchin. Thought it was just some
Fucking hell.
local lad trying to get me to go and buy fags from him.
Yeah, exactly.
Go nip in the offie for me.
Excuse me, mister.
One for going, that's the system.
Excuse me, mister. Can you get me 6 cans of lager? And a bottle of 2020.
Stop chucking the arrows around. What are you doing? They're never going to serve you.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
mate, stop shooting him.
I had something to say. So, is it your plan to finish that game then, Joe? Are you gonna do that then? Even though you're struggling with it at the moment, are you gonna like read the fucking manual?
No, not going to read the manual, but I am intending to try and get... God of War I think I'll stick with. I don't think I'm going to stick with Ratchet & Clank much longer. It's not... Well, it kind of is and it isn't my sort of game. It's quite similar, like Mario Odyssey that I've played through, but I haven't completely finished that one. It's got that kind of vibe, except... Like, there's some nods to the fact that it's a remake and it's quite sort of fourth wall breaking. One guy said, like, see you in the next reboot and stuff like that, which is great if you've been along for the journey for those kind of jokes.
Yeah.
But I haven't, and it's not. I feel like if I gave it a bit more time, I might like it. But God of War, I think it's got to be a classic. It's one that he was raving about. Like, he was really into God of War, absolutely loving it. So it's one that I'd quite like to pick up. I might at some point, because I have got it myself, I might start it from the beginning. But I think the confusion is adding to it for me at present. But it might get old quickly.
The thing is, 'cause from memory, I played it when the year it came out. It's got quite a lot of RPG elements to it in terms of like modding your armor, modding your axe and things like that, and kind of the different abilities you can add to your arsenal kind of thing. So if he's fully spec'd in one particular direction and that's not the way that you play, then I can see why you'd want to play from your own direction, I suppose.
But then, in the same way, that's kind of the point, isn't it? Like, if he's that's the kind of thing where I should be carrying on in that route, because like it'll also show me a different way of playing. Like, because I'm not the kind of person who plays a game through 4 or 5 different times with different builds. I'll do it.
Yeah,
Done. Happy.
Yeah.
So there's that. Apart from that, I've been playing a ridiculous amount of Hades, which is just so good. Even in the time since we last spoke, finding out some more things about it, discovered a secret element to things that was hidden. I don't know. It's been out a while, isn't it? Are we doing spoiler free, or do we have some sort of...
it's
Don't spoil it, because I want to play that.
Yeah, I'm saying it's on my pile, so I don't mind just spoiling gameplay mechanics, but story. If there's anything
no, because actually the way that it's so clever. Like, I'd hate to ruin the surprises as you go along, and how deep it is. Like,
are those surprises? Are they like part of its appeal?
Yes, definitely.
Right, well then don't do that then.
Yeah.
No, I won't. But the
won't,
way the
but-
surprises happen is amazing. Like, it's so well thought out, and it's built into the kind of game that it is. You know that you die in it. Like, that's not a surprise, is it? Like, in a computer game,
No,
you die.
I figure.
But it's built... The world changes to reflect what you've done. So you might have a conversation with someone and they'll talk about what you've done.
Right.
And it never feels like it's forced. It always... And I've played it 93 times now, or attempted to do it. I've lost 93 lives because I'm not very good. And
I'm not.
I still don't feel like it's repeating itself. I still feel like it's fresh.
That's
when
good.
I'm playing through.
How we all love video games because of what they do and the worlds they take us to, but the fact that a game can be as simple, I say not simple, as straightforward and as small in size in terms of even kind of hard drive space, yet it can make you feel that 93 times that you've died in it, that actually it's paying attention to every single 93.
And I mean, more so than like, Bloodborne, you die a lot. But it kind of feels like you've just... Like, that's built into the game, but it feels like you've just died and you do the same thing again, and the same thing again. And it's... This doesn't... It really doesn't... It's so clever, and it's so... I just feel like it's... the reviews and things are amazing, and with reason. It's really good.
You make a really good point comparing it to something like Bloodborne, because as much as you always die in both of them, and you certainly die in Bloodborne, in a game like you're talking about, it feels like you're having another go. Like you're having another go. I'm not dying. I'm having another go.
Yeah.
It's like a layered kind of experience, rather like Bloodborne might feel like, well, you weren't good enough at that point. You've stopped. It's a full stop. Maybe Hades is a comma rather than a full stop in between lives. I don't know. That was probably a really shit analogy, I suppose that is. But, I mean, I don't know. I'll find out. It's on my pile. Did you say it's on your pile as well, Dave?
Yeah, this is a typical reason why I needed to do Year of Shame, because I've got it on PC, Switch, and Xbox, thanks to Game Pass.
How? Seriously? Are you a millionaire that we just didn't know about, Dave?
No, I bought it on the Switch when it came out. Then I read that it was crap performance, so I bought it on Epic using their £10 voucher thing. So it was like about £7 or something. And then it came out on Game Pass about 3 weeks later. So, yep. Thanks.
That alone is a story that should be the spine and backbone to anybody's Year of Shame challenge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have you played it then, Matthew? Hades?
Yes. Yeah. I think I assume I got to a point of New Game Plus, but I enjoyed it. For some reason, as much the story didn't get me. The story didn't get me, and it's Supergiant Games, and they do good stuff that I really like. And a lot of it is down to the story, but it didn't hit me in that. But the gameplay was great, the roguelike elements were great, and the music, as always, outstanding.
Oh, the music's amazing, isn't it? The music's really good.
I love a good soundtrack in a video game.
There's some bosses that I'm looking forward to getting to hearing their theme when you're fighting them.
Oh, nothing better than getting to that one of the bosses, that first boss, that damn woman. When you know exactly how she works and you overpowered a little bit and you've had a real good opening gambit, you're like, do you know what? I'm going to enjoy this fight for a change.
Good.
It's when something switched for me when I started strategizing a bit more, thinking about like, it's not random. There is a way through this, and there's a strategy I can use to build up my character in a way that is going to mean I can do the next bit, and it's not. Yeah, that is quite nice when that happens and you're up against someone.
Okay, excellent. So, Matthew, what have you been playing?
Okay, I'll give you a quick bit of playing and then a general update on my my shameful year that I'm starting.
Go on then. Strap yourself in, people. This is going to be good.
So the console is lovely. I remember before I got the console, I tried to play Control on the PC, and my computer was like, it was down to, must have been single-digit frames a second when physics started to happen. And Remedy know how to do physics. We're going back to the guys who did the first two Max Payne games, and they did Alan Wake. Like, I know they did that. I don't know. It was very forgettable. Quantum Theory. I don't know.
Quantum Break.
Quantic Dreams.
There you go.
Was it Quantum Break?
It was Quantum Break.
Quantum Break. Quantic Dreams.
They did. They did the one with the
murder film game.
Yeah, that was
David Cage.
David Cage. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can't think of the game names.
Jason.
Heavy Rain.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll get the end in the end. But yeah, so Remedy and Control, and yeah, so I was so stoked to be able to play it on the console, because one of the things I love about console is you're going to get at least should have the performance. I know that I'm in theory on a lesser system than the X, and maybe one day we'll start to see an incremental, I don't know. But anyway, Control was such good fun, and I know that you mentioned it on our earlier show, Neale. It may have been on a question or something about DLC, and you didn't hit the DLC.
No.
But because the DLC was the last purchase I made last year, and it was on a sale, and it was just, I think it just surfaced to me. I was getting towards the end of the campaign. It was like, is both chapters for like £3? I went, yep, I'll have me a bit more Control.
Steal.
Yep, and it did that good thing where it kind of surfaced it within the open world after the facts. I'm like, okay, I know a little bit of Googling, but okay, just make sure I know that I'm going to go on the critical path to open this thing.
Yeah.
And what was lovely about it, and Remedy were able to draw upon their previous games and characters and IP, and bring it into this world, which has already been set up as a like weird shit happens in the world.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
It's crazy how they can just create this linked universe kind of mentality, isn't it? And it's not immediately apparent, but it becomes through audio logs and through bits and bobs and stuff like that. It really kind of pulls it together. And doesn't one of the DLC, isn't it not like so focused on another franchise as well? Or have I missed the mark on that?
One of them is very focused on another franchise. The other one is just a bit more control.
Yeah. Okay.
So super happy with that. But from an update on a where I was point of view, so we knew that I had a few things that I needed to tackle, and the first thing that I needed to tackle was paying for and needing being in a world where I had 2 Ultimate Xbox accounts, and I've had this for this has been in place for a while. Only for a couple of months of paying for it, but like knowing the frustration of having the wrong account on the wrong thing has been going on far too long. So I spent a Sunday, and I started going through the Xbox support website, and I've spent a lot of time on support websites lately. It seems trying to get resolution, and it took me an awful lot of digging about, and I was able to put my phone number in. It says, "Give me a call, Bill, sort me out." And a dude calls me up. And he was really useful, and I already know some of the jibes that I got last time recorded. This guy blatantly did work for Microsoft, like he weren't he weren't a chancer.
I mean, he could spell it.
Chancer.
He had credentials.
He had enough.
He had a Hotmail account.
Yeah.
They don't give them out for free.
He did say before he connected, he was just to let you know that I will be able to see all of your desktop. I went, that's fine. Let me create a new little temporary folder, throw everything into that just in case.
All my hot links. All those.
How many £1,000 did he take, Matt?
Well, it takes a few days, doesn't it?
He's still pending. He's in tribunal.
We got into a world where. And I know that Joe thinks that this is gonna bite me.
I think you're insane for what you're about to say. I think you're absolutely insane.
At no point did I give out any credentials or did I give anything out. Right, I was controlling. Essentially, so what we did is we created a temporary Google Mail account. As
they always do at Microsoft.
Well, to be fair, he did try. To be fair, he did try and do an Outlook account first, and it failed. And he went, "Oh, fuck it."
He sounds professional. He sounds legit.
Yeah, he's done it a few times.
What was his name?
I don't know, Terry. Didn't sound like Terry, but there you go. So we set up a fresh account. We migrated my Xbox thing to that.
I think you're missing out the bit here that's completely horrified me. He's got complete control over your computer while all of this is happening.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's the key thing, Matthew, that you explained previously. That whilst
Terry can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, Terry, you've linked Terry direct to your PC, so
Yeah,
he could be copying your hard drive without you even knowing.
Yeah, but I'd see him do it. I could see the cursor.
No, we could be using APIs and all sorts to fucking rip everything he wants to rip out of you.
He didn't save us from the Microsoft Internet Department.
Specialist branch.
Because they call me all the time.
Well, look. Okay, I may show a somewhat lapse interpretation of cybersecurity and maybe how I should consider things. Either way, no one's come to my house to arrest me, and no money has left my accounts. And
Terry's account.
And also, look, I was refunded by Microsoft into the payments that I made. That Microsoft repaid me. I got money back. It was a very extreme method. I'm glad that it was taken because it literally solved all of my problems.
So wait a minute. Let me say that. So not only did you rectify the 2 Xbox Game Pass Ultimate accounts, so you're paying twice for the same privileges, did Microsoft actually refund you for the months that you had 2? Did you get some money back from it? So you actually reaped. Oh, sweet.
I did as well. And because I didn't realise as well that the my subscription to Office 365 was also from that side of my account. That's been cancelled as well, and also refunded, and it's still working. So until it tells me that I need to give them some money again, I'm going to keep using like the local version of
Well done,
Excel.
mate.
Registered to terry@gmail.com.
Terry Phipps.
So the beauty now is that I've got my one login for my computer and for my console. Everything works, and I've also managed to destroy and completely purge like an old Hotmail account that was annoying me that it existed. It only existed because I knew that my gamer tag that was its origin, and if I killed that account
Was
beforehand,
it something like Mantis Matt is skill at Hotmail?
He's so hot.
It was. I won't tell you what it is for many reasons, but it had a Lord of the Rings character name in it.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
Araporn.
Well, not only that, I've made some more progress as well. I've taken a look at my Sky package, and I've always hated Sky, and I've always wanted to get rid of Sky because it's bloody expensive. And I would rather just smart TV it, and I consume most things on YouTube anyway, so I don't need these subscriptions. But the wife is a huge fan, and the biggest barrier, the hardest thing for me to try and get rid of Sky has been that she knows the UI, and UI is over years it's muscle memory, and I don't want to have to go like, here's a Roku box, I don't know what that is.
I've got to admit, Matt, my wife was exactly the same when we moved to BT for a number of years because it was cheaper, and she couldn't get used to it at all, and she complained daily, and it wasn't worth the hassle. It was worth an extra £10 a month to go back to Sky so she could actually use the telly box. So I sympathise with you 100% on that.
So that was always my goal, was to get rid of Sky and save this like £79 a month I was paying, and that was just Sky, right? Netflix on top of that, Disney Plus on top of that. And then I noticed that they were their new release is Sky Glass, which is doesn't need a satellite dish, and it's a single device, connects to Wi-Fi, and it has no hard drive, no local storage, and it relies on linking out and pushing out to all of this. A lot of them being Sky, some of them being iPlayer, some of them being ITV Hub, Channel 4, all that good stuff. And I was kind of tempted by the tech because we have a wall-mounted television, which means that we've never been able to have a sound system. Sound has been terrible. The Sky Glass TV is fucking heavy and built in with speakers. It's built in with everything the wife knows and everything that I know, and I like it as a product, which means that I bought a telly. But wait for it, I'm saving money.
Okay.
I'm saving money, Joe.
He's got his
I would like to make
stalker.
aware the dubious look on my face that is not translating to audio. So that's just what I want everyone. Sort of low, maybe a low growl would be the sort of audio equivalent.
You had to buy a TV to get a better deal.
Didn't have to. I probably could have just. I don't know. I don't know what happens where if you're on a legacy account like I was. I don't know if you just call them up normally and say, right, have you got a new account? I can go on a new tariff, essentially. Like, but this is Sky. This isn't the water company. This ain't British Gas. Like, I don't know if that's a thing. So you sit with your legacy package, and you get emails saying, "Well done, you've been with us for 6 years. You're a VIP, Matthew." So
tell you what, I'll call you a VIP. Give me £1 a year.
Okay, but are you going to give me a telly and? Save me when I say save money. So I was paying £79 a month for everything Sky, and I was also paying £15 a month for Netflix.
Why were you paying £15 a month for Netflix?
Because I was paying for the Balls Deep edition, even though I didn't have a 4K TV. Because Matthew,
you joking?
I'm going to stop asking questions now because it'll be someone told me to, or the big boys made me do it.
What? Well, right. Let's come back to Sky in a second. You went for the both bollocks edition of Netflix, but you only had like the foreskin of a TV to be able to play it on.
Well, yeah.
It's a lovely mental
ready for
image.
HD.
Ready for the balls deep. So, why, Matthew? Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I think once we were on holiday at an Airbnb and the in-laws were there and the family there, and I had to put it on 2 televisions. But to do that, I had to upgrade my account like 4 years ago, and then I get emails saying like it's going up to 15 quid again now. I'm like, oh, I guess that's how much Netflix costs.
I mean, Netflix is quite expensive now compared to the other subscription accounts. Per month, per year, kind of thing like that. It's on the expensive side. And I think I got a very similar email as well. When you want to use multiple logins, they do try and push you down that kind of like, right, well, go for the full family account then. And that includes HD and stuff like that. But 15 quid, woof. So 75.
Matt, can I ask a question here?
Go on then, go.
Have you cancelled your legacy package, or have you taken this out additionally?
No, so herein lies the excitement, is going in for a new product on a new fancy account. Every single, like my entertainment package or the this element or the that element has dropped down. They also have got a deal in with Netflix where for free I get the base package, but I may as well spend the £4 a month or the £6 a month to have the equivalent of the Balls Deep package. Now I've got a Balls Deep TV.
Are you making notes here, Joe? I can see
So-
you
I
scribbling
genuinely
away.
am.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
doing the
once again, I was paying £79 for Sky, and I was paying the £15 for Netflix. I'm now paying, imagine Sky and Netflix together, I'm now paying £80 because £30 for the next 2 years will be paying off for the new television that I've got. And that's 0% interest, but I can't afford to go and spend 900 quid. I'm saving money.
You are
and I've
still
got a
spending
television.
900 quid. You are still
know,
spending
I know.
900 quid.
Look, Joe,
You're just
I'm-
spending it slowly.
Yes, but that's what it's all about. I don't have 900 quid to spare, and this is a solution that solves an awful lot of fucking problems, because as a use case, I am perfect for this, and I'm saving money. Look, I'm doing better. It's only January.
Yeah, it's an improvement because you're thinking about it. I like that's a positive. That's a positive.
Yeah.
I'm legit saving money.
No, wait a minute.
So
you said you were
you
spending
spent
75 and now you're
effectively
paying 80.
900 quid over time.
Yeah.
No,
Terry
no,
at
no, I
Gmail's
wasn't-
got control of all your accounts.
See, what I want to know is like
The
how
telling
often-
bit is
Go on.
that I could have had Netflix for free for everything I wanted, but I might as well give them £4 or £6. I'm not sure how much for the rest of my life, because we all know I'm never looking at that email again.
It'll come up on next
So
next year's receipt, which he goes through and spots it.
I've
So
not
you're
spent
paying
any money
£960 a year now
instead of more.
instead of more for your telly.
No, for.
But hang on, have you tried not buying the telly? Because I think that would be cheaper.
No, but
That would be cheaper, but I needed a telly.
Right.
Right, Matthew, I think the key thing that you failed to, like, after previous conversations from an unaired episode, the key thing we were missing here is the reason previously you live in a rented house, don't you, Matthew? So you're not allowed to have any kind of like routers or additional phone lines placed into other particular bits. So for your television in your main room, in your living room, you had to pay for Sky multi-room to access Sky in your actual living room where you watch TV.
Yes.
It was plugged into your office.
The office.
Yeah, I had the Sky Q box plugged in, not plugged into a television, and then the hub part sellotaped behind the television, and I was paying £10 a month for multi-room.
Yeah. So I think that's
Well, that's a bonus. Have you thought about just getting
120
Terry
quid off
round
a
to the
year.
house? Terry just come
No.
round and sort your house out,
No,
because this sounds like something. He sounds like a competent character
See,
now.
I
He
see-
could just sort it out. Like, he'd probably remove the sellotape. He'll probably do some drill. No, I suppose he's not allowed to do any drilling. I don't know. I'm not convinced Matthew's got a front room. I think Matthew's house has been taken from him, and this is all it is.
Yeah.
I think it's all smoke and mirrors, and all his wages goes to random companies that have asked him for money at any point in the past, and he's just going, "Yeah, that's fine. Let's do it. Yeah, I'll have that."
I hobo. The thing is, I how many times a day, Matthew, do you look at your PC or your laptop and the webcam light is on and you've not even got it turned on when Terry's watching you? It's like what's that? That's that movie where the apartment block where the guy's watching everybody. What's it called? I can't remember. Dave,
You think we're now streaming live on Terry's Nut Kings?
Yes.
What it is.
This is it. And he's charging people to watch you.
Oh, what's that film where it's the fake TV? Ace Ventura, dude.
Truman Show.
Oh,
The Truman Show. That's it. That's what that's like.
Martin
is now.
Truman. Is that his name? Martin Truman.
Terry Truman.
Terry Truman.
Good old TT.
He's making a living off your life right now, Matthew. That's what he's doing. He's plugged in. Have you got like those personal security cameras, like your doorbell, those Ring things and stuff like that? He's plugged into all of that, mate. He knows the everything that's getting delivered. He's selling all your information everywhere.
I mean, look, you have kind of panicked me a little bit. Should I legit like buy a new computer and throw this in the tip? Is that how you cleanse potential security breaches?
Fire solves everything.
Yeah, Matthew. Look, you're making progressive steps forward. I'm, for one, are proud of you because I remember how easy it was just basically for you to be spending money and not realising how much money you were spending. But now you're actually thinking about subscriptions, what goes out monthly, what goes out yearly, and the long-term effect of multi-room and all that kind of stuff, due to your circumstances, because you're not going to move from your town anytime soon, are you?
Well, I'm not buying anywhere anytime soon. That much.
Well, there you go. So Joe, before we move on, does the notes, the maths that you've been kind of working out, are you happy? Are you all right? I want to make sure, because I don't want any built-up rage down there in that window box down there. Are you okay?
Look, if we were all the same, it'd be a very boring world, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But I am happy that Matthew is now £200 a year better off after having someone come up. So that's good. That's really positive.
Round of applause there.
So what's
Part one of the 12-step program?
We are going to leave it. We are
by the end of
there,
this, Matthew, we'll have you living off sort of dried lentils every day, and you'll
Yeah.
be saving all of your money.
You'll be
buying everything
picking
up
berries
front.
from the park or something like that.
Only
Foraging.
2 sheets while wiping.
Yeah.
Do
You'll
what?
be in the bins behind Tesco or something like that, pulling out all the fucking reserves.
This is not the first time where I've thought I've done really well, and it turns out that it was somewhat disappointing.
No, mate.
It's positive. It is good. It is good.
No, you've got.
And you've got a big telly.
Yeah. Well, the fact is, look, one thing I want to know, actually, on a side note, is you say there's no storage on that TV. So, like one of the big things for me in our Skybox is it can only record so much. Like I'm constantly fighting against Series Link. So is it all saved in the cloud or something then? Have you got like an allowance or anything, or is it just basically unlimited?
No, it relies on all. When you go to say, let me look at my hard drive, and you go, oh, I've got about 300 episodes of The Simpsons that I'm going to keep there just in case. And you go, oh, actually, I have got some old Nevermind of Buzzcocks. Maybe I should go and see if there's any new ones about. So you go into the on-demand section. It's just on-demand. It's just the on-demand part of the Sky solution.
Nice.
What
Same
they
as
do,
the BT box used to work.
what
Yeah.
they do,
Neale.
what they really do that I like is that previous to having this, I used to use some apps I would punch out to on my television, and some I would rely on Sky for. So I never had a real single solution. So again, now I've got one controller. But instead of punching out to my separate apps, I can search within the Sky menus for a program, and it will list all the series. It gives zero fucks where it lives. It just knows that I can punch out to it. So before I go into Netflix, I'm in the Sky browse. I'm going like, okay, I need to go to series 12, episode whatever, hit it, and you go like bang into Netflix. So from a setup point of view, it took a bit of time, but I really like the fact that if you're trying to log into something on your television, it will go like, right, use your phone, go to a website, type in this code, and it sort of syncs it. So it makes it somewhat accessible, but I did have to make sure that you have accounts created on all of those services, make sure it's all logged in, And so far from my use case, I've really enjoyed it. The sound is awesome because like it's not flat. It's a big chunky piece of equipment, and it's designed for people like me. Like when I moved into this gaff, there wasn't even a Sky Dish. I had to be like, "Do you mind if I get a Sky Dish?" Which is why it was so a logistical nightmare. Not only your own home to design your solution.
Yeah. Yeah, understood it. Yeah, that makes sense, mate. Well done.
Just as a side there, remember last week my TV, it was a BT box, broke. And we had like millions of things recorded, as you were saying. But my wife, she likes to get rid of as much as she can that's recorded. So when it broke, she was really happy because her entire pile of shame was gone. So there we go, a year of shame. Works in strange ways.
Oh, all those Masked Singer gone. She has to worry about them.
All she has is serial killer and misery programs, and I just record music, and that's basically it. You can tell exactly who's recorded what.
I'm in the same groove as your wife. I record a lot of serial killer, general crime crap, because it makes me feel that there's a darker side of life, and my life's not that shit. I mean, because it's not as bad as it could be. Anywho, stop.
Is it time to talk about my dead mate to lift the mood?
Yeah.
So, let's move away from that, please. Thank you very much. Right.
Should we have another question?
Let's have another question before we move on.
Oh, Dave, please.
So, Kev Atkinson asks, if all your games, including digital, were all in DVD-style cases and piled on top of each other, how high would your pile be?
Wow.
So, I actually had a little look at this. So, I'm guessing that DVD cases are about 15 mil, and I've got about 1,400 games on my pile. So, it's approximately 65 foot. Yeah.
We'll have the same.
What was that website you told me about last week, Joe?
We'll have. I don't know, but we'll have the same conversation as always. I don't know what's unless you can compare that to something else. What else is that size?
Is that like?
I can tell you that it's 10 Danny DeVitos.
Hang on, 65
I can't
picture that. That's more than 10 Danny DeVitos, surely.
Yeah, how tall's Danny DeVito?
Well, he's not 6 foot.
Blame your website.
I reckon it's how many Danny DeVitos is that? That would be a great one.
That's not something I want to Google, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's as tall as the Hollywood sign. It's 1.5 times as tall as a Brachiosaurus, and it's a third of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So there we go. That's my pile.
Danny DeVito is 4'9".
Right.
We've got to work out the Danny DeVito ratio.
The determination on Joe's face right now is
the fact that he's sat in front of
palatable.
the biggest calculator he's ever known, and he's sat there scribbling on paper. Start run calc.
Have you got a fancy calculator button on your keyboard?
Yeah, you still boot up the same calculator.
Yeah, but ever since they started doing more than just the function keys, I don't like buying keyboards with bespoke. Open your email client. Fuck you.
I've got an emoji button on this one.
Haven't you got a
I've
Terry
never
button
pressed
now?
it.
so okay.
16, roughly 16 and a half Danny DeVitos.
Even better.
More Danny DeVitos to get through.
Than anybody wants to cater for.
So I don't know if this has been mentioned before, but I used to live in Wrexham, which is
Good segue.
well, there is a link. So there was a
good.
massive thing the other day of is Danny DeVito in Wrexham, all around social media.
What? They got Daddy Watch down in Wrexham.
And I've now found out why that is, because if you look at the Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like the little trailer thing, there's a bunch of lads sat in the local pub in Wrexham, in the Turf in Wrexham, which is next to the football stadium, including a Danny DeVito lookalike that they had brought in.
on the opening credits of that show.
Of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, one of the trailers for it, because Rob McElhenney's bought Wrexham. not the town, not the whole town.
I was saying that's quite an expensive purchase.
Yeah, I think but he's got the football club. So Danny DeVito, lookalike, was shipped in by Rob McElhenney to sort of trick everyone into thinking Danny DeVito was there.
Do you know there's such a thing as more money than sense? I mean that's not. I mean that's kind of funny, but the cost behind that is it? Oh my god, ridiculous.
I just went to go and do a check-in, and I thought, what do I type in? And I thought, well, I'll just type in the obvious, and I got 7 characters into my question into my browser, and my browser knew that I was trying to say, is Russ Abbott still alive?
Well, he is. Clearly he is. I mean, Dave's wearing evidence. It's a photograph taken today.
Okay, he's still 74.
See, long live he.
We need to get in touch with him, don't we?
No,
We're going to have to get him on Cameo or something. We're going to have to.
You can never meet your heroes. It's not. No, don't do that.
I met Jet from Gladiators. It was brilliant.
Oh, that sounds good. How did you deal with the guilt?
Yeah, the wank job.
This is a true story. Jet from Gladiators stole my hat.
Yeah. Oh God.
If you said helmet, I'd be more interested.
Yeah,
They were doing a lap
she swallowed
of
your
the
helmet.
NEC,
I'll be all over that.
and she grabbed my hat and then she put it on and walked off with it. Fucked off. Oh, swear jaw.
Motherfucker. Anyway, back to the question. We've deviated enough. So we're talking how big is your pile of shame physically? Now, obviously, Matthew, you've used this excuse in a previous question that you've got no physical games. But like Dave just said, if they were physical, you got to put those kind of size, you got a size ratio to them. Go on, hazard a guess. Are we talking rhino tip to tip? What was saying?
I reckon 2 Arnold Schwarzeneggers with 1 Danny DeVito on his shoulders.
There you go. I love that analogy. Perfect.
Is Danny DeVito going to become our default measurement scale?
Unit of length. Unit of length.
You know that Russ Abbott is our default measurement scale for everything. You do know that, don't
God,
you?
how tall is Russ Abbott? Let's
Here
Google.
we go. Oh my God. I don't believe we don't know this already.
6'1".
He's a big chap. He is a tall chap with a really wide smile. Cheers for that, mate. I appreciate that. So, based on that question, Joe, like, how physically big could your pile of shame be? Because it's that. I mean, obviously Dave's thought about it and actually put some measurements together. But like, what do you think?
I haven't thought about it, but I haven't put any measurements together. I would guess it pales in insignificance to the mighty 16.25 Danny DeVito's tall Dave. I reckon mine would barely be touching Danny DeVito's chin. I think it's about Danny DeVito's
His chin
height. Between nipple and chin height of Danny DeVito, probably.
I imagine his nipples drag a little bit as well, so they aim downwards, definitely.
I suppose you don't know with Danny DeVito. You never know really if his nipples are above his chin or not. It depends. He's a chaotic character.
Yeah, it depends what
He's a
character he's playing as
tumbler.
well.
He's a bit of a tumbler. But see, again, it depends what you count. If it's the list of games that I've touched but not finished, because I did get a spreadsheet. I managed to get Sony generated a spreadsheet for me, and I think Xbox did one. I got a few. There's tons on there that I'm not going to look at. And I think I've just got my pile is a much shorter list, mostly guided by whimsy, and I think it would be Danny DeVito shins. Like I'm actually going to play within
almost
a year.
knee.
Sort of shin to knee.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the shin to knee area.
Yeah, I think I'm somewhere similar, to be honest with you. Even though I do buy a lot of video games, there's not much actually in my pile of shame that I would consider to be a pile of shame. I'd say his crotch to his belly button. Like, it could be his bell end to his belly button. Let's say that. Danny DeVito's bell end to his belly button is where I feel that...
so if Danny DeVito's sort of imagine Danny DeVito eating a burger, where the mustard sort of... The burger
drips.
Juice falls on Danny DeVito would be somewhere between bell and burger. That's where Danny DeVito's... that's the height of Danny DeVito.
That's where his soul's
between
kept.
bell end and burger.
Yeah, that's where people question where the soul is. That's where Danny DeVito's soul is, where the mustard drips. Like it, love it. Okay, so let's move on. We've got more to cover. We've got loads more to talk about. So Dave, what have you been playing this month, mate?
I've had quite a good month this month.
Go for it. Tell us all about it.
Belted
I want
through a lot of stuff.
Go on.
Okay, so the first thing I finished was a game called Townscaper. That was on Game Pass just before Christmas. This is barely a game. It's basically a click on the map and it builds height on towers. So you basically build this little sort of village in the sea by clicking away, and it's very therapeutic. It's very relaxing indeed.
Is it one of those ones where the music just kind of sweeps you away a little bit?
Yeah, really good. Well worth it if you just can't be asked to play or think.
Yeah, which is pretty much my life.
Second one I played through was Unpacking. I think you've probably heard a lot about this elsewhere. It's basically you get a load of boxes in a room, you click the boxes, you get things out and you put them on various shelves and things. Now, what I found fantastic about this was the irony of a game with no spoken word, no dialogue, and it created a wonderful story. Got a bit tedious in places, but yeah, absolutely loved it. Really original.
When you're unwrapping all the wine glasses individually wrapped in newspaper, fucking hell.
It's the socks. The socks got me. You have to put them into...
I don't know what you mean. And I've obviously not played this game. What do you mean unwrapping socks or putting socks away?
You literally click on a cardboard box. It's about moving into a place, and you take the things out and you have to put them somewhere in the room. So you have to identify what they are, where they should go.
Is there a wrong answer?
Spaces.
Could you put them on the top of your wardrobe rather than actually in a drawer?
Some things you can, some you
points?
can't. I just chucked any old crap anywhere, really.
Is there like a right or wrong way? Is there a scoreboard? What I don't understand.
There's certain things that you have to put in certain places, and it sort of tells a tale. Like from obviously it's a kid's room at the start, and then you grow up, and it becomes apparent you've moved in with someone, and etc. But there's no explicit story saying, you're at this stage of your life, this happens, or any. There's nothing. It's really good. Okay, so the big game I've played this month was I finally got around to playing Spider-Man on the PlayStation. What a roller coaster I've had with this game. I was expecting a full balls out blockbuster. I saw the trailers, I heard what everyone said, all the hype. Oh my god, what a tedious game. Every single thing that you do adds more and more crap to the map constantly, and the map's broken up into like 10 sectors,
districts.
So yeah, you'll do something and then it'll say, oh right, you've got to go and now you've got to stop this gang 5 times in each sector. So times that by like 10, you've got to do 50 encounters. And this happens basically after every single main mission, which can be as boring as, I don't know, go and see your auntie moan at you and say you're lovely, and then go and fight some more meaningless gang people. So in the trailer, it looked brilliant. There was all the Sinister Six. It was all explosions, blah blah blah. No, you're just punching the same criminals in the face endlessly until you die of boredom. But
did you enjoy
the actual
it?
main missions are all right. I wouldn't say they're brilliant. I'd say they're all right. But it's just the sheer amount of crap that just kept getting added. If this was a Ubisoft game, people would have absolutely murdered it. But for some reason, because it's Spider-Man, they've just gone, it's Spider-Man.
So why is it escape criticism then? Apart from it being side Spider-Man. Oh really? It's just so strange that something is so repetitive.
Sorry, Neale.
No, sorry. Carry on, mate.
I've got Miles Morales because I actually got that with the PS5. That has gone in the bin. It's not even getting touched this year. Not a chance. It was all right anyway, but yeah, just too long, too repetitive. I did platinum it, so that was probably
Oh well,
the
Jesus
worst thing that I
Christ!
did.
So it wasn't that bad that you spent an extra 20 hours picking up all the bloody
I think I did
backpacks
it
and
about
stuff.
15 hours. Wasn't that bad.
I
Anyway,
can't. Oh.
So, I'm going to move on from that because I've got more to get through. I
Go.
also played through the Black Panther DLC in Marvel's Avengers. Now, I have to say, I massively preferred Avengers to Spider-Man. It's just loads more fun in all ways. Multiplayer, lots of builds and stuff. Just really enjoyed it. So I played that through with Gav. Had a great time.
I think I asked you last time. Is that now is that a service that you can keep going back to, like a Destiny style thing?
You can, in theory, but it would become very, very boring very, very quickly. You can sort of you build up levels on your character and you build up skills and you also get equipment. Now the equipment doesn't even show on you, so there's not really much point. I've never even
Under Armour.
Yeah, I'm getting slightest damn about the equipment, and I've done everything in the game, so so that was really good. Next was the Gunk. That's another Game Pass game. This was a sort of, it's a very, very casual, like almost a Metroidvania, but not really. You basically just pootle around a planet solving light environmental puzzles. There's minimal combat, and you suck up a load of goop like an anti-Ghostbuster.
Nice.
Very Pixar, not difficult, fairly short, really good. Highly recommend it. Just if you just want to plough through a game in about 8 hours or something. Next one was XO1. This is a really
He's
weird.
Same here, guys. By the way, he is literally putting us all. He's actually playing video games. Do you know what I
just
mean? I'm
rattling
so sorry,
through.
Dave. I'm sorry to disrupt your flow, but bloody hell, compared to the rest of us, you actually are. Won't mind saying that. You've with a pile of shame the size of yours. You bloody need to, I suppose. Sorry.
Don't forget, all of these were quite short. Like Townscape Out, Unpacking, Avengers was only a DLC. The Gunk was really short. This one, XO1, was only about 4 hours long. This is just bizarre. You basically play like a weird UFO, and you move by either increasing your gravity as a ball to hit the ground, or you flatten out like a frisbee to sort of fly for short times, but you need to roll across the ground to recharge that. So
Sounds like whiz ball.
Yeah, kind of. It's all 3D, like third person, sorry. But as you've got like the undulating landscape, so you have to increase your gravity to hit the downhill slopes and jump up, and it's an extremely alien game. It's like hard sci-fi. You don't really know what the plot is, but it was well worth playing through. The visuals and the sound were just brilliant. I just enjoyed it. Great game.
Awesome.
I've got more. I'm sorry. I almost
Real.
finished It Takes Two the other day. I've been playing this for some months with my best friend, and tying down times to play it has been a nightmare. And we've got literally within 5 minutes of the ending, and his child wasn't very well, so we had to stop what we were doing. So we haven't seen the ending yet, but we've finished the whole game.
Shitty now.
That is easily in my favourite games ever. Just so much fun. If you've got anyone to play It Takes Two with, do it. But it's not a short game. It's about 15-16 hours, which is why it took such a long time. But yeah, one of the best cooperative game I've ever played. It's like being in a Pixar film. Just never laughed so much in a game. It's fantastic. Right, that's the end of the proper games, I suppose. I've got back into Sea of Thieves, Matt.
Yes, mate. I saw that on Facebook. We should totally hang out.
Yes, we should. So, I wanted to go back and finish those Pirates of the Caribbean things. So, I knocked a couple of those out over the last few days. Unbelievable. So good.
And I've not tried that yet on my console. It might be a bit more reliable, a bit nicer, because it looks good enough on the computer. It's a gorgeous looking title, isn't it?
My Series X makes that look unbelievable. It is infinitely better than my PC version, which I thought was amazing, compared to the old Xbox. But the Series X version is something else. So yeah, back into that.
If you guys venture in and it's a night I'm available, let me know. I've always wanted to get into Sea of Thieves. Played it a little bit, get the main core mechanics and stuff. Played it bits and bobs, but never played with people for more than half an hour. So yeah,
the trouble with that game is you start and you have a go on your own and you have no idea what you're doing. You've got no idea how to pick up something to do, or don't know where to go, or even the mechanical operations of the game. And then you join, there's like an open crew option which matchmakes you with people, and that is just the worst. I'd rather just uninstall the game than do that ever again. Because everyone's either doesn't know what they're doing, it's a screaming child, or it's some American racist or something usually. But playing it with your friends
of humanity,
greatest game ever. There's just so much you can do, and like I said, it doesn't guide you and tell you what to do, but now it really does do a much better job. And there is the game now is like 3 sequels on from the original game. That's how much it's changed, and that's how good it is. There's just so much to do. So yeah, fantastic. The last lot is just retro stuff, really. I've been getting really into light gun games, like Time Crisis you mentioned earlier, and Operation Wolf and Virtual Cop and things like that. So
you say this like that we all venture this like one day a week. We all, you get into your light gun games and you create your own.
Neale, on a Thursday, light gun Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget all these things. You tinker with them for hours and hours, and then you play them for about 5 minutes each.
No, with all due respect, we don't tinker with them. I haven't got the intelligence. You've got the intelligence to do that. I have not got a clue.
A ridiculously long article on why you can't play Duck Hunt anymore on a modern TV, and it'd be right up your alley, Dave. Really into like how the Zapper gun works, why that's optimized for cathode ray TVs and doesn't work for newer tellies. And so what's your way around it then?
I know, because I've done it. Well, not with the original gun. It's a Wiimote stuck in a pathetic gun grip.
No, I want the conk. I want the proper chunk of a.
Yeah, you can buy them. There are modern solutions to it now. But I'm getting off topic a bit here. But it puts like a big white bar around the screen, basically, so you can use these new guns with any game because there's this white bar. It detects where it is and it can work everything from there. Yeah. Right stuff. And the last game I've been completely and utterly addicted to is an arcade game. It's a weird arranged version of Pac-Man. It's not like the original Pac-Man game, and I can't stop playing it. I've honestly put about 10 hours in this week. It's awful, but I can't stop playing it.
What's the
that's the
difference?
lot anyway.
What's the crack element? What's keeping you there?
It's got loads of different things. There's another ghost, and it does things like teleports and jumps, and there's like speed ramps, and it's quite a different game. But yeah, it's good.
Crikey, excellent. Okay, so I will briefly give you a bit of an overview about what I've been playing. Before the challenge started, I suppose we all do kind of think similar things to this. I started playing all the BioShock games from the first through to the third. I think they were on a Steam sale or something along those lines that kind of like instigated the actual thing. But so BioShock 1 being one of the first games that actually really, really, really drew me back into playing video games in the first place. Serious video games when like the good consoles came out, kind of thing. And playing them again has been a really good experience of understanding the nostalgia of the music, the gameplay, and the storytelling. It's been fantastic. I've loved every single bit of it. I knew I loved Bioshock 1. I knew I appreciated Bioshock 2. But playing them again, a newfound love for both of them. Just the music alone. How many times have I listened to the Spotify accounts or playlists of the Bioshock series just in an evening, just to because nothing's on?
I've got Bioshock had is a unique thing, a unique little memory that I just remembered that's unique to that time and that game, and a friend of mine that he'd played it before I had, and I hadn't picked up until I'd almost finished the game that for the past couple of days he kept saying "would you kindly" in text messages, and I hadn't picked up on it.
Oh,
and I finally hit me in the game. I'm like, oh, you little bastards! Every now and so I actually
spoiling it for you.
And I remember a couple of months ago, I was in. Actually, tell a lie. The last time I was in an office, actually, which was in September, I think, there was a message above the coffee saying, "Would you kindly like clean up after yourself?" And I took a photograph and sent it to him.
Yeah, would you kindly do this, and then murder everybody in your office building? No, it's a fabulous series of games, and I've played all three. I've done all the kind of the main story campaigns of all three. I've gone through the first something I ignored the first time around. Excuse me, when it first came out, the DLC for the Bioshock Infinite. I just didn't. I don't know why. I just never got really kind of entwined into playing it. But I've played the first one. I'm halfway through the second one. It's incredible. Being brought back to Rapture with modern day graphics, and you can really tell the difference. It's sensational, atmosphere wise, and having that music, that ambience in the background it's toe curling. It's very, very kind of sensationally kind of like bringing you into that moment, and it's fantastic, and I absolutely love it. So I will play the last DLC pack, but I've played about half of it, and it feels a little bit different. It feels more like a bit of a stealth than a shooter, to be honest with you. And I'm not very good at stealth shooters. They're just a bit weird, I suppose. So I'm playing that at the moment, and that's what I've done. In terms of other things I've played in January, I've just played a lot of Destiny, to be honest with you. Destiny has, I think, the vacuum of the next big expansion that's coming, the Witch Queen, has basically created this kind of vortex of Neale's time, where I feel like I need to be prepared for the Witch Queen, and I'm playing it pretty much every day for 2-3 hours a day, and that's a bit weird. No, it's not weird. It's just a bit weird.
Yeah,
Does
but
it feel like you're in an
playing
abusive
that
relationship
with your
that
friends?
game in any way?
No, I play on my own, mate. I play Destiny 1 completely on my own. Didn't do anything. Didn't do any raids. Didn't do any kind of multiplayer content whatsoever. Because most of the people that I knew that were playing Destiny had their fire teams kind of preordained, and I didn't want to be like that pleb waving in from the sidelines like pick me.
Yeah.
And then Destiny 2 came out, and I played like the first kind of bunch of content and what have you. Again, solo. Occasionally playing like, the story missions with another person with me, but never really got into the multiplayer Crucible and the raids and the dungeons and stuff like that. And it's only been the last 5 months or so that I've kind of, I don't know if it's me finding the time or finding the availability of my friends, that I've started playing the multiplayer aspect of Destiny. And Jesus bloody Christ, it's so good. It is really good. You can, I can fully understand why people are, those Twitch channels, those YouTube channels that are just 100% volume every day. This is what I do, because there's a lot there. There's a lot of mysticism. There's a lot of lore. There's I was lucky enough through a friend of a friend. My good friend actually. He was able to give me a old DLC code that I had to put into my PlayStation 4. Sorry, my PlayStation 5.
Was this an email from Terry?
No.
Terry at Gmail.
Although it could have been. There's a particular kind of mission that you can go on to get an exotic scout rifle. Okay, not to get into too much detail because it's boring from pretty much 95% of people that are paying attention or in this room. But basically, it's a timed event, and you can only get it if you had certain DLC. And the problem with Destiny that people have had since day dot is they partition stuff. They keep things separate. When they come out with the next season, when they come out with the next expansion, they throw worlds away, and then within those worlds you can't do those activities again. And I was lucky enough, extremely lucky, for a friend of all of ours who had a very old code for his PlayStation that had this exotic kind of element to it. And I put the code in, it transferred over to my PC account, I played it today, and fuck me, it was hard. Playing it solo, it was fucking hard. Like puzzles, jumping puzzles, general fucking gameplay, arenas that were just like, you shouldn't play them on your own. You should not play them on your own. But after about I should have been at work, to be honest with you. After about 3 hours, I did it, and I felt amazing. Got the one gun. It sounds so terrible when you say it out loud. I got a gun for playing it for 3 hours, but I got a gun that I was after, and yeah, the euphoric moments you get from it are fantastic. So yeah, no, back to point. Been playing BioShock. We'll definitely finish it off, the DLC. Always playing Destiny in the background, leading up to the Witch Queen, and I probably, unfortunately, will have a bit of a Witch Queen section for 10 minutes in the next kind of podcast when it releases, to kind of give you my general impressions about how a terrible player at Destiny, a noob, is taking it all on. To be honest with you, that'll be semi. No, I've already bought it, mate. It was already pre-bought. It's not a klaxon.
It is.
Don't look at me like this.
It is.
Isn't. I bought it before I came on the show.
Today? Like before you came on today?
I've cancelled.
Before I agreed to be on this podcast, I'd already pre-ordered the Witch Queen.
If you or anybody you know is
Joker.
suffering from Destiny addiction, please call.
No.
Well, I've ordered
555
Dying Light, Elden
DS.
Ring. It's not Joker.
Is this the year of pre-orders?
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
It's DLC for fuck's sake.
DLC.
Like, we are the least rule-bothered group. However, I now give a shit about this.
I saw all your backs go up though. All your claws came out. Fucking
What?
hell.
Because you've bought a game in the year where you're not allowed to buy a game.
I haven't bought it. I've not paid any money in 2022.
No, but
I
you're,
paid
you're,
my
you're,
money
play,
in
you're playing a
October.
new game, I guess.
I paid
Hang on, that just requires organisation. I could have pre-booked
just fucking
Pokemon.
sue me, Joe. Sue me for being organised about myself. I bought a game in October.
It's a level of organisation I don't expect from this group, to be honest.
Well, exactly. I bought a game because I knew I was going to play it in October, and I agreed to be on this podcast in late November. Fucking
So it's a
hell,
Joker then, yeah?
Bend me over and fucking call me Sally. What do you want from me?
Joker gone, innit?
And would you reckon I'm going to cancel that pre-order? Or, fuck off.
Let's get
Joker
the Joe
gone.
Middleton clause coming in.
Sounds like the Joker's gone.
Fuck you.
I would say so.
You fucking
I'd say so, yeah.
dick. Don't you even bother with that bullshit. Look, I paid for it.
Yeah, that's how you buy things.
Game.
That's the basic premise of
If-
commerce.
You paid for it in one
bought
go,
his-
not like
excuse
over
me,
months.
If Dave's bought his Game Pass prior, does that mean he's cheated already?
I'm not using it.
No. Pardon?
I'm not using it though, am I?
Yeah, but you paid for it. It's been paid for. You're paying for it now. Your monthly subscription is coming out of your account now.
Not you. No,
Yes?
it's not.
Yeah, but he's
I
not
paid for
playing
it 3 years ago.
Yeah. Well, 3 years ago, 6 months ago. What's the difference? I paid for it 6 months ago.
Yeah, but you're playing it. That's the
No,
difference.
I'm not playing the windscreen.
When are you going to play it? 2022? 2023? Which one?
I'm
Was
not
it
accepting
This
it,
is-
Santa. I'm
This
not
is a man
accepting it.
under the addictive harness of
Right.
destiny.
The Witch Queen Deluxe Edition is £70.
Right. Okay. So what are you saying? What does that mean?
But it's not just
So
DLC.
if I
with
can't
Import on, is it?
download, what's it? The thingy, Bloodborne, for nothing.
I'm pretty sure. Maybe we need to go back and check the tape on the first show. I'm pretty sure we were all pretty open with what we were doing. I like the fact that our least we give less shits than most year. All of a sudden, we're giving.
All of a sudden, it's going to fucking stabbing me in the back.
Because you
Wait
bought
a
a
minute.
game.
I told you all. I mentioned it in the intros edition of this fucking podcast that I'd bought the Witch Queen expansion to Destiny because, I mean, fuck you. I'm not
We
having this.
interviewed Derek last week, who told us that he pre-ordered about 10 things and he cancelled them. I've cancelled stuff.
Okay.
I didn't mention this the other day, but I've pre-ordered Pokemon Arceus. So just look.
No. Sorry. Pokemon Aquaman.
I'm not accepting this.
I think we'll put that one to the viewers.
yes,
What?
I think we should.
No. I paid
Money for a game. That's called buying.
yeah,
That's
prior,
commerce.
right? I paid money, right? When like so, say DLC for a game that there's
Yeah.
it's a live service that you played for off and on, regardless, for 3 or 4
For 70
years,
quid. 70 quid.
right? No, regardless of fucking cost, prick. Okay, there's a game of a service that you play that is going on, and before you sign up for a podcast about not buying any new games for a year, you pay that subscription service about at least a month before, maybe even longer. You're like, oh, I'm definitely buying this. They've opened it up. You can buy it. I'm buying it because I know I'm going to play it. So why not buy it now? And then a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks later, you join a podcast about not buying any new games and playing the games on your pile. And I've been completely honest from the get-go that I play Destiny from the get-go. You're gonna get into microtransactions quite
So
soon.
can
aren't you?
I have the Monster Hunter DLC this year then?
You can't buy it this year. If you buy it
I'll
last
pay
year,
on.
yeah.
No, you
maybe.
can't buy it. You can only exchange money for it.
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, here's a genuine one for you, Neil. I do game share with my best mate on the Xbox, and we bought Dying Light 2 last year. He's played it today. I can't. I put half the money.
Sorry, explain that again.
So
You
I
put
game
half the-
share.
you- wait,
with
no,
my-
no,
I
no.
game share on Xbox with my friend. So when
Game
something comes
share.
out,
What do you mean? What does that mean? I don't understand. You game
so
share.
his console is my home console, and my console is his home console. So
you
that
cheat.
means that any game you buy on either of them, the other one can play,
Okay, so you cheat the system, right? Okay.
along with literally anybody else who's got an Xbox.
Okay. just say, mate. I'm just stating stuff.
so we
Go on,
get
carry on.
everything for half price, and we buy co-op games mainly to play.
Is that legit? Is that kosher?
No. This is what I'm saying. I'm
No,
not
I don't mean from the
going to
rules.
play
I just mean I just mean like from a general consumer point of view.
literally
You
everybody does it.
All right. All right.
Okay. So
You wanna-
your
you offer
question
some-
to me, Dave, is
What's the
because
difference?
you share a game purchase with somebody.
No, I paid money for it last year. The
Yeah,
game
that
is
is-
out.
Yeah. Did you right? Okay. Did you pay for that game after you knew you were being on this challenge,
No.
then it's fine.
No.
So why would you be crucifying yourself
If
over
only,
something that
Because
you'd
it's
paid
the name
for?
of the game.
Yeah, but
If only
we're
there was
taking the
some
piss
sort
out.
of way out
We've
of
literally
this.
taken the piss out of Matthew for his Netflix subscription nightmare, and he's being on Microsoft 365 on 20 different accounts because he can't remember his fucking name. And yet,
The swear jar is overflowing.
but when it comes to moving over, you've bought a game previously, you've joined a challenge, you've already paid your money. So what are you gonna do? Cancel that game?
Use your
Fuck
Joker, mate.
off.
Just use your Joker.
Yeah.
No.
If I want to use it, I'll just use. I'll use my Joker.
Oh, come on! This is daft. This is absolutely daft. This has turned stupid.
Anyway, we'll look for a poll in the Facebook group shortly. Let's move along.
Oh, Joe, that was great. Did you see that?
Absolutely.
I had to
stupid.
mute at some point.
You say that. Okay, well, I can't even remember what the next subject was. I was talking about the games I was playing, but it all turned into a fucking nightmare. All right, okay. So, domestics are all done. They're all tied up. Is there anything else anyone wants to say?
Oh, Neale.
Neale.
Come on.
What? It
Come
turned
on,
into
bring
a
the look.
fucking witch
Come on,
hunt.
look at Russ.
All of
Look at
Witch
Russ.
hunt. Fuck off. Fuck off. I don't give a shit. It turned into a witch. You know what we've been playing. Turned into a witch hunt for whatever reason.
A witch
Fucking
queen.
Pick on the fucking Lutland, whatever. Right. So so we've all talked about what we've been playing. So shall we talk about games that have come out this month and whether we missed them or not? That might be quite funny. So I've gone to Wikipedia and I'm using the Wikipedia's January page. I'm going to go through bits and bobs and talk about what whether it was something that we would play. Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to skip over quite a lot. Actually, there's one that's amazingly relevant. There's a Monster Hunter Rise for Windows, Dave. Is this moving over to the
I
PC
would
version?
almost definitely have bought that because obviously Monster Hunter Rise is on the Switch and the performance is just crap. After playing Monster Hunter World for like 900 hours or whatever, and playing that on the next gen consoles with everything running at 60 FPS and smooth as anything, I dropped off Monster Hunter Rise pretty fast because I just couldn't handle the performance. So
Right.
I'd love to play it on a PC, but I'm not going to be able to unless I play my Joker.
Which is highly unlikely. There's Astroneer on Nintendo Switch, which I don't think anybody is bothered
That's on
about.
Game Pass anyway.
Is it?
It's been on for years.
There you go. God of War, obviously on PC as well, which we've talked about in terms of Joe's PS4 experience. The other ones I can see, Tony Clarkson's Rainbow Six Extraction. Is that on anybody's radar whatsoever?
I would almost definitely have played that on a Tuesday night with my gang, or on a Friday maybe. It's a Left 4 Dead style game. It would have been good.
Do you think they'll play it without you, or
Nah.
nah? Okay, cool. What about you, Matt, Joe? Is that something that you'd probably want to enjoy, or are you happy just to escape it?
I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, well, I've heard of
it again.
Yeah, I think is it a Rainbow Six thing? I think I've heard
Yeah,
of that.
it's
but I've never
basically
really played
like
it, so.
it's basically like a 6-on-6 or 6 against computers, kind of trying to rescue people.
Good. I'd like to be good at a game like that, because when I played Call of Duty back in the day, every now and again on Modern Warfare 2 or something, you'd get a real tight group who were real good and took it dead serious. Yeah, the real fun moment. There's those people who play the Rainbow Six games who just get so into it, like all the right sort of commands and lingo. That could be quite fun if you were to get into it.
Yeah.
Toxic as hell, that community is though. Practice a lot before you join a match.
The only two other big ones that I can see on this particular list are the Pokemon Legends Oculus that you talked about previously, Joe, which was your wavering moment. That's obviously been released this month. And then the other one is Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. So is that like a PS5 update of the kind of DLCs then?
Yeah. See, I wouldn't mind playing this, but I've got original discs of Uncharted 1, 2 and 3. No, I don't know about 3. On the PS3. I've got the Uncharted collection, or whatever it was, on PS4. And I've played none of them, so... Yeah,
Shit.
big gaping hole that is in my...
Giving it no attention is not a good sign. And then that's it for January. I could bleed into what could possibly tempt us in next month, but
next month
is going to be ridiculous
nightmare.
So it'd be interesting to find out whether the compulsive buyers of the group are going to lose their shit, basically, because you've got stuff like Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, etc., etc. It's going to be interesting. It's a big month, isn't it? Really? Is it? Has February's always been this big for big game releases? I don't
It's
think they
normally quite
have.
rubbish, really. I put a post on the Facebook group the other day that February is basically going to be like 1998 in video games again, when you had like Zelda, GoldenEye, Final Fantasy VII. You know, it was the best year ever, and this is like 1 month.
Yeah, it's 4 weeks and all that shit's coming out at the same time. Crazy. Excellent then. So we'll wrap up there, shall we? Any closing thoughts? Is everybody okay? Anybody got anything else they want to say?
Just sorry to everyone that it took us a while to get this out again. As I said, we've had a couple of attempts.
My fault.
No, but non-intentional errors were made. But it was technical issues rather than personal issues, definitely. And also, we scheduled 4 people that have got lives, families, and jobs. It's hard to reschedule everybody to be available at the same time. So bear with us. But by the sounds of it, by January's content alone, you've got to get regular stuff regularly.
It's alright, dude. If they want a refund, they can bring their receipt.
Exactly.
Get a refund.
And if they paid for it last year, it don't matter anyway.
Exactly. You absolute fucking...
Maybe we should add one of the questions to the previous hosts. How much money have you made in commission since you were last time?
Yeah.
In fact, Neale, how are you doing? Are you still cashing them checks?
Absolutely unbelievable. I'm not going to answer that question.
I'm going to have to go in a minute anyway. We'll have to disappear.
That's fine. That's fine. So I'm going to hand over to our fabulous friend and previous Year of Shame host, Derek, for the domestics, which we amazingly appreciate him doing.
So I'm getting paid for this, yeah? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm getting paid. Okay, so, all right, these guys have asked me very nicely if I would volunteer to do their outro. So if you guys want to follow, then if you go over on Twitter, you can find them at Year of Shame. If you want to check them out on YouTube, it's the Year of Shame Challenge. And like the same, if you're on Facebook, you can find them under Year of Shame Challenge as well.
We loved him having on the show, and stay continued and with us for the next 11 months, where we're going to have more people from previous shows and previous seasons, just to see how they're doing now, see how they appreciate it, whether they get shit for buying something that they pre-ordered before they agreed to something. Whatever, are they going to cancel? Are they going to cancel it? Why?
And who was upfront about it? Who documented it? Maybe on the internet somewhere. Maybe on a podcast.
Yeah, somebody who said it pretty much 3 weeks ago for everybody to hear, but yet still get shit for it. Who knows, people? You don't know what you're going to get. That's what this podcast's about.
It's a mystery.
It's all about the atmosphere, isn't it? It's all about the atmosphere. He's still alive. Right, with that note, I'm gonna guys, say goodbye. Say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye,
Cheers
gang.
all!
Right, bye. Go and do something useful.
Yeah. Challenge your lives in the
Go and
right
have
way.
a good think.
Yeah, about your life. Okay, thanks everybody. Really appreciate you being with us, and we'll speak to you in the next show. See ya.
But either way, while I was waiting to get let in, I found a setting. Now, let me see if you can see me. You can see me, yeah? There's a slider here, yeah? Just like your RPG game, there's a slider. And if it does what it did yesterday, it makes me look fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
You ready for it? Oh, he looks old. But blink and... Look at that.
Oh my god, what are you using?
It's a setting in Zoom.
Nivea.
Or I can go, oh, it's been a hard life.
He's had a hard paper round, hasn't he?
Ooh.
I found
So
the
what's-
eyebrow enhancer on here.
Video settings, touch up appearance,
Touch up my appearance.
touch my cock appearance.
It makes it look like you've either been smeared in Vaseline or
Joe,
sandpaper.
what's it done to your
I
eyebrows?
found the eyebrow enhancer button.
Joe's found his true self.
Well, I think I might have this on here as sort of the flashing purple eyebrows of disapproval. When, just as a sort of warning when Matthew starts talking about overspending.